What's going on, everyone? I'm going to give it one more try, and the only reason I'm doing this is because I feel obligated because the community is still an array out of this topic, so I have it all here in one video. This is the reality. You can read it, take from it what you want. If you're still concerned and have questions after this, I can no longer help you. This is getting ridiculous, and let's just go ahead and move forward. And we're going to talk about the direct registration system, how it works, and a brief history. And again, a list of resources for this presentation are found all right here. We have the DTC DRS operations manual. We have the DTCC DRS about page, how it works page. We have the FAST program manual. We have the DWAC manual. And we have the SEC filing amending DRS requirements, as well as Dr. Suzanne Trimbrath's comment letter in response to that proposed ruling. So a brief history. I'm not going to read all this verbatim because at this point I feel like I'm just regurgitating the same info. But basically, prior to the establishment of the FAST program, transfers of securities to or from DTC occurred by sending securities back and forth between DTC and transfer agents. In the case of securities being deposited with DTC, DTC sent the certificates to the transfer agent for registration into the name of DTC's nominee, Seed & Co., and the transfer agent returned the re-registered certificates to DTC. In the case of securities being withdrawn from DTC, DTC sent the certificates registered in the name of Seed & Co. to the transfer agent for re-registration into the name designated by the withdrawing DTC participant. This is what we're claiming is happening now. This is how it used to be. This is before the implementation of the FAST program. So this sentence right here, in the case of securities being withdrawn, the whole argument seems to have gone back now to the primary reason for DRS is to take shares out of the DTC, which is not happening. Now, in light of the FAST program, DTC has re-examined the requirements of the FAST program with a view toward ensuring that the assets in the custody of transfer agents, which ultimately belong to DTC's participants and their customers, are adequately protected. As under the FAST program, transfer agents hold FAST eligible securities registered in the name of Seed & Co. in the form of balance certificates. As additional securities are deposited or withdrawn from DTC, transfer agents adjust the denomination of the balance certificate as appropriate and electronically confirm these changes with DTC. Such FAST agents are holding in custody those securities that would otherwise be held at DTC for the benefit of DTC's participants. As such, the FAST program reduces the movement of certificates between DTC and the transfer agents and therefore reduces the cost and risk associated with the creation, movement, and storing of certificates to DTC, DTC participants, issuers, and transfer agents. Now, DRS allows investors to hold a security as the registered owner in electronic form on the books of the issuer rather than holding indirectly through a financial intermediary that holds the security in street name or holding through the use of a certificate. So what they're saying is it allows you to take your shares in electronic form and place them on the books of the issuer rather than holding indirectly through a financial intermediary. Through the use of FAST, DRS also allows for the transfer of a DRS position from the books of the issuer to a financial intermediary through the facilities of DTC. Therefore, if your shares are not in physical form, you have no way of proving you own those shares other than the yearly advice report you get from the FAST agents and or Computershare in this case. These are the requirements to become a FAST agent. Transfer agent must be registered with the Commission, except where the transfer agent's participation in the FAST program is limited to acting solely for municipal issues, and follow all applicable rules under the Exchange Act, as well as all other applicable federal and state laws, rules, and regulations applicable to transfer agents, including OFAC regulations. In addition, they must provide DTC with a written notification as soon as practicable if its regulator has taken any regulatory action against the transfer agent with respect to a violation. Any regulatory reports or information furnished to DTC, including that required pursuant to this item number 1 and item number 14 below, shall be held as confidential by DTC and will not be used for any purpose other than to manage the risk of DTC and its participants. The transfer agent must execute and fulfill the requirements of the appropriate form of balance certificate agreement with DTC. Then it brings up Supernote 9. DTC currently maintains 3 forms of the balance certificate agreement, one for transfer agents, one for issuers acting as their own agent, and one for parties using a processing agent. So let's go back to this one. If GameStop was their own agent, it would be a lot better idea than the fact we have an intermediary fast agent being Computershare. That's the problem. So the point of this amendment here that we're about to look into is they're consolidating those forms into one single form, because their goal here is to eliminate physical certificates and or the only true way to get your shares out of the DTC is by requesting a DWAC withdrawal, which is a physical certificate medallioned in your name. So point number 3, when applying for fast status, the transfer agent must include the name and QSIP of a minimum of 1 issue it wishes to add to the FAST program. Issues eligible for the FAST program must be traded on an exchange registered under Section 6 of the Exchange Act, municipal securities, or transferred by a transfer agent that already acts as a fast transfer agent for at least 5 other issues that are traded on an exchange. The above provisions notwithstanding, DTC reserves the complete discretion to include or exclude any particular issue in the FAST program. So if the DTC didn't want GameStop to be in the FAST program, it wouldn't be in it. But the fact that it is in it means they're ready for it. Requirement number 4, the agent must sign and fulfill requirements of the operational criteria for the fast transfer agent processing and must comply with all applicable provisions of DTC's operational arrangements, the thing that Crean and everyone else on Reddit does not want to read because it proves them all wrong. Number 5, in order to provide for the operational proficiency and efficiency of the program on being accepted as a fast transfer agent, the transfer agent must complete DTC's training on fast functionality. And this is where it gets concerning. So now that you know there's no possible way to get them out of the DTC, what's the risk for those of you that have done it? Well, the risk for them is nothing because they have an insurance contract, which is what the FAST program basically is. The FAST agent is required to carry a minimum of $1 million in errors and omissions insurance with a deductible of no more than $25,000 and must show evidence of the policy on applying for fast status. Also have to have a mail insurance policy of $10 million or more and show evidence of the policy on applying for fast status. So, I mean, they're protected. You're not. Why? Because you give up the only insurance you had, the SIPC insurance, which you will no longer have with DRS. And then here's some other requirements you can read if you'd like to pause and read this. And here's a couple more. But yeah, you can see it's highly regulated by the DTC, making it nearly, it's absurd to think you're going to get your shares out of the DTC by using a DTC system, first of all. Here's some more requirements. I believe there's 18 in total. Oh yeah, look at this. Fast agents must safeguard all the securities assets as stated under SEC Rule 1780-12 and with at least the following additional DTC requirements. Maintaining a theft and fireproof safe of no less than 350 pounds with a minimum anti-theft test rating of UL 687 and a minimum fire rating of UL 72. Maintaining a theft and fire central monitoring alarm system protecting the entire premises. All certificates will be maintained in a secure location, accessible only by authorized personnel, and certificates shall not be left unattended unless stored in a secure location. So you can keep pretending the shares are yours, and you can keep pretending you're taking them off the books of the DTC, but you're not, because the FAST program or the FAST Automated Securities Transfer Program is a contract between DTC and transfer agents. It's a big club and you're not in it. And it eliminates the movement of physical securities by allowing agents to act as custodians for DTC. So if you're eliminating the movement of physical securities, how are you taking it out of their name if it's in digital form? You can't. Now, that was just the eligibility to get into FAST. On top of that, here's more requirements to get into the DRS program. Obviously, you have to be a FAST program participant. You have to have a DTC limited account agreement, deliver transaction advices directly to investors relating to DRS withdrawal by transfer requests, which is not the same as a DWAC, and provide DTC with a file containing the transaction advice delivery date, amongst other things. You can pause if you want to read the rest. Supernote 13 on this page, in DRS, instructions to transfer shares are sent by a broker-dealer that is a DTC participant or by a transfer agent that is a DRS limited participant, which is a DTC participant. Profile provides screen-based indemnification against false instructions from the party submitting the instructions through DRS. The indemnity is supported either by a surety bond or an insurance policy. When you transfer using DRS, all you're doing is taking the securities and putting them in the name of the FAST agent or transfer agent who sends you an advice showing ownership. That does not mean they're out of the DTC. How could they be if the FAST agent works and is under contract with the DTC? But there is a possible way to get your shares out. And to do that, you do a DWAC. Now, what's really concerning is that this right here is the comment letter that Dr. Suzanne Trimbrath sent to the Commission in response to DTC 2006-16, which was amending FAST and DRS to basically give them more control, and by eliminating the physical securities, which in her own words, if you pause and read this, will extend its 30-year pattern of anti-competitive behavior and must not be permitted by the Commission. Well, guess what? That rule was approved as amended. And guess what the amendments were? The allowal to draw down from the FAST balance, certificate balance, eliminating any possibility that this will ever be, quote unquote, out of the DTC's control. Excuse me. So DWAC, what's a DWAC? A DWAC is a deposit withdrawal at custodian. Shareholders can withdraw their stock from their brokerage accounts and request a physical stock certificate by either having the broker initiate the request through DTC or by having their broker send the shares electronically directly to the transfer agent through the DWAC system. To withdraw a physical stock certificate from your street name brokerage account via DWAC, please do the following. Notify your broker, get the form, and pay the fee. If you want to deposit a DWAC, you can deposit your stock into a brokerage account by either sending their physical stock certificate or by having the transfer agent send the shares directly to the broker through the DWAC system. It's like a book. If you have an ebook, how many people could own that same ebook and you not know it? You don't know. There's no way to tell because it's all in electronic format. You can copy it as many times as you want. Now, if it's a physical certificate, you have it in your hand and there's only a certain amount printed, that's how you only can prove ownership of shares. That is how you can only say, hey, I have this share and I know it's not being lent because I have it in my hand. That's the only way you're going to be able to tell. Period. Despite your feelings, that is how this works. Fast agents serve two purposes, DWAC and DRS. The difference, one is digital, one is not. DRS is not. DTC wants this. They are begging for this. So the misconception here is if you want to use GameStop's direct stock purchase plan, which is not DRS, go through that. All you're doing by going through DRS is obfuscating everything. The only way to remove shares from the DTCC is by requesting a DWAC, the only way to withdraw from street name, in physical form. If it's still electronic form in the DTC ecosystem, how is it out of the DTC? If you think just because you have a piece of paper called an advice with your name on it, with the amount of shares you put in, because DRS, that's not saying anything because you haven't read the literature telling you how they fuck you out of that. It's called Fast Balance Certificate, man, and they draw down from it as approved in 2009. You can't argue with this. This is all available online. And by the way, the DWAC is exactly what CMKX Diamond did. So those saying that CMKX Diamond was DRS, it wasn't. They created DRS to prevent that from ever happening again. So you're literally playing into the hand of the enemy. You're listening to these Redditors with no idea what they're talking about. And these are the risks that they put you all under now. Not me, because I didn't do this because I looked into it first. But anyone that did this, you do have some risk to be concerned about. So the direct registration, now that we know how it works and that they must be a participant with DTC, what arm of ComputerShare is the participant? Well, ComputerShare Trust Company. Okay, so what about that? Well, they're the ones that just got assigned a bad credit rating or a worse credit rating, first time rating of BBB. So, I mean, you just got to use your head, people. ComputerShare Trust Company is Wells Fargo. They just acquired, ComputerShare just acquired Wells Fargo Trust earlier this year. So, in essence, by the way, this cannot be argued, Crean, as I know you will not come off of Reddit, the place you have silenced me to basically demolish your arguments. I get it. But you can't argue with this, as I read from up-to-date documents, so your feelings can remain where they are at this point. This is I swear to God, this is the last video I'm ever going to make on this. This is everything you need in one video to demolish anything that Reddit is pushing on this. DRS was designed to eliminate physical certificates, thereby giving them a monopoly on securities ownership, as noted by Dr. Trimbrath in the comment letter we just saw. The ruling was approved despite her efforts, creating the DTC DRS, which is highly regulated and looks to eliminate physical securities, which they've basically already done. The only way to get your shares out of the DTC's books and into your name is by holding a certificated medallion share in your hand, not in digital format, where it can be manipulated by the DTC, which is no longer available as per ComputerShare. As stated, the fast agent or limited participant account with the DTC is none other than ComputerShare Trust, which is Wells Fargo, which just got a credit rating hit, and if it defaults, you lose 100% of your investments, and the DTC gets to claim insurance, as discussed earlier. So use your head. Why am I doing this? Because a lot of people are going to get burned on this if they're not careful. This is obviously a trap being set. Change my mind. Somebody change my mind. Somebody prove all of these documents wrong. That shits on everything that's being pushed. This is the real question that should be asked. What are you doing, Creand in Reddit? How could you be so wrong about something? Like, seriously, what are you doing? That's the question that needs to be answered. Because I've answered enough questions, and I'm done talking about this. This is the reality. Accept it or not, moving forward. Take it easy.